So Jared, when you think about Ford Pro, what word comes to mind?
I think of opportunity to grow the business, and it's a different business model than we currently operate on. So when you mention Ford Pro, for us, it's opportunity.
From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's the Executive Spotlight.
Welcome to the AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, our guest is Jared Ricart from Ricart Automotive. Welcome, Jared.
Hey, thank you very much for having me, Brian. I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back in the studio, and we've got some really good topics to talk about today.
Yes.
I'd like to start with the opportunity that Ford dealers have through the Ford Pro Elite Commercial Service Program. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's Ford Pro is fantastic. It's an opportunity for us to help service a lot of the businesses. But Ford Pro, we've been doing it for a number of years before it was called Ford Pro. It's grown. So kind of a little backstory on this is we opened up a shop and we noticed that there was opportunity in Columbus, Ohio. Being in Columbus, Ohio, it's growing significantly. If you actually do a study, when we first started looking into how are we going to get into the fleet and commercial business, you got to make sure you do your due diligence and figure out what kind of strategy we're going at it. And what we found with Columbus, Ohio, is we're about 5 miles away from Rickenbacker Airport. Now, Rickenbacker used to be Lockbourne Air Force Base, and it has the third largest inland port in the United States of America. So when you think of that, that's logistics, and especially when you think about Columbus, Ohio, being within 500 miles of 50% of the population in the United States of America, there's a lot of jumbo jets, and we saw an opportunity in last mile delivery. We started off, we bought a former car dealership. It was across the street from our dealership, and we started off about 14,000 square feet. And we started learning the business and learning what it took. And we started with 5 technicians and 2 advisors. And this was about 2017, 2018. And how we got the idea from it is we're lucky enough to be a part of a 20 group with other Ford dealers across the United States of America. And some of our other Ford dealers were doing fleet and commercial and doing pro work before it was actually called pro. And that's when the light bulb went off when we said in Columbus, Ohio, what would it look like for the Ricart family to do a fleet and commercial? Fast forward, we ended up growing the business and learning a little bit of business, and you got to take a look at the advantages. With Pro, we are no longer just fixing Ford vehicles. We're fixing all makes and models, because if you get an Amazon fleet that you get a chance to fix, it's not just a Ford Transit. You also have the Ram ProMaster. You also have boom trucks. You also have all kinds of different vehicles that have upfits, and they're not always going to have the Ford Oval on it. So competitive makes, we are broadening our spec and of ability to fix all makes and models. So as we went into it, a 14,000 square foot facility, we started noticing with the technology in these vehicles, a lot of these large businesses don't have somebody that's technologically advanced or have the training to work on them. So most large businesses had an in-house mechanic or an in-house technician. With 150 million lines of code on an F-150, these things are modern marvels when it comes to technology. So they need us. And we kind of took the position, and what we think of Pro is we get to support the businesses that support our community. It kind of brings it full circle of this is something that HVAC companies, electrical companies, all these companies, what is the worst thing that could happen to them is downtime. And where can we fit in? Well, we need to make sure that we get their vehicles back to them quickly. So with that 14,000 square foot facility, we learned a lot about the business, and we were growing and we were learning it. Fast forward, we ended up getting another opportunity to buy a facility, and it was about 113,000 square feet. And we ended up moving our technicians from the 14,000 to the 113,000 square foot facility. And we opened that facility before it was Pro, and the best time ever, it was March of 2020, because there's absolutely nothing going on then. I'm being facetious and joking. Yeah. That's when the pandemic started. So, we have this big facility. We're wondering how that we're gonna get this business off the ground. And sure enough, it just it was all about partnerships and relationships and being there for our partners, and it grew significantly. So Pro now is we're a Ford Pro Elite dealer. Ford's supposed to have another 85 dealers that are Pro Elite or Pro done in the next 30 days. So a lot of this is picking up steam. And really what we found is we have an opportunity to service a completely different segment of business than another retail customer. It gets us in the business to business. How can we keep these companies moving forward? And I think we've done a pretty good job, and we're continually growing. But more importantly, we're continually learning what Pro is. Just looking at this, we went from 5 technicians. Now we have over 30 technicians. We have 72 stalls. We have 24 flat stalls, 48 racks, and it's moving and it's big right now. So Ford Pro is something that we started doing it before it was called Ford Pro. We kind of looked at our strategy, looked at our market, and it felt as though something that we were going to succeed in, and we really had a passion for. So we moved forward with Pro.
So you kind of told us a little bit about the history of how you got into this part of the business. How is it going, and where do you see it going?
So it's going good. You look at the business, and I think we were having a conversation about, I look at this as always securing internal combustion engine work, because you look at an F750, F650, there's really no way that they're going to be compatible or be able to roll with just a battery powering them as propulsion. So those are the vehicles that we're concentrating on, the F450s, 650s. And how it's going now is we have grown significantly in the past 6 years. We've added more stalls, more space, and it's been a wonderful business because we feel as though this is helping us support Columbus. Columbus is going to grow by about 700,000 people in the next 30 years, and we get to help these businesses. There's a lot of builders, HVAC companies, electrical companies, and we're a staple of the community. And we also fix a lot of the police vehicles in Columbus, the first responder units. There's nothing more powerful than walking into our shop and saying, I get a chance to do this for our community.
Yeah, well, I mean, you made a good point there. I mean, electric vehicles can replace some delivery stuff, but when you think about a truck full of soda pop, or a truck full of water, or a truck full of anything liquid or heavy or furniture, I mean, it would take one heck of an electric engine to move a truck full of Coca-Cola, right?
Absolutely it would, and it just continually deteriorates the battery. So this is just another aspect, and it's a different part of our business. Obviously, we're still Ford. We sell Ford retails and service retail customers. This is just another add-on that we can get another part of our business to help other businesses and other companies and other people that we didn't have before. So it's really exciting.
That's a great segue to my next question. You're talking about helping other businesses. Let's talk about helping other dealers. I know you talk to a lot of dealers. You mentioned your 20 group. When you're talking to other dealers about this opportunity, what are the questions they're asking, and how do they feel about it?
The dealers that understand the business have made significant investment towards it, and they're all in on it. Other dealers are talking about, I've had other dealers talk about, the body shop. Is the best use of their body shop for body repairs, or turning into a pro facility? There is a lot of buzz. There's a lot of questions, but I assure you, if you're willing to make the commitment and the investment, and you want to learn the business and you want to develop the technicians, it's what you put into it. Because if you just open the doors and expect everything to come your way, it's not going to be as successful. But dealers are talking about it. I feel as though Ford has a great opportunity, because Ford sells about 50% of the fleet and commercial vehicles in that space. So what a great opportunity, but we only service 20% of them, Ford dealers. So the Ford dealers sell all the vehicles, all these Ford vehicles, and we only see 20% return for service. What a great opportunity. And this is going to be something that I think will grow with time, and it'll keep gaining momentum because it gives you that competitive make. You get to work on anything you possibly want to, upfit vehicles, other makes and models, and it's just such a great segment for our company and for our business.
Well, Jared, I'd like to shift gears. Let's talk about parts, because I know that you guys, have a major investment into parts and wholesale. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So really, our wholesale parts and all really started in 1989. So 1989, we had two parts employees, $75,000 worth of parts, one truck on the road, and it's grown significantly. And I always have to thank our staff and our people, our employees, and our parts general manager has been working in our company for exactly one less year than I've been alive. So He has great knowledge and great tenure. But what he has done and his team have done, they've grown it. So we used to have $75,000 in parts. Now we have 75,000 square feet of parts, about $10 million of parts, 100 employees in our parts department, 30 trucks on the road at all times. And what we wanted to do is similar to the pro is we want to help these businesses support the community, whether it's the independent repair shop, whether it's another dealer, whether it's a body shop. And we really started growing, and we kept growing and growing. And it's turned into, not only are we helping out businesses in Ohio, we help out businesses in West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana. So it's grown significantly, and I have to really appreciate our team for doing that. So with that 75,000 square foot facility, how does this help our service department? Well, we have the parts, and it especially helps our pro department because those businesses need their vehicles back like yesterday. Mm-hmm. So if we have those parts, which is right next to our pro facility, we have an opportunity to make sure that we get the vehicles on the road, get the repairs done fast, and we keep that business moving forward. Because really all that other business wants with pro is no headaches. Get my car fixed, get it back to me so I can keep making money. Mm-hmm. So with our parts warehouse also, things that we haven't thought about and then I started thinking about is I got the first experience of EVs when I saw a battery in one of our parking spots in a garage, and it's taped off saying "Do not touch." Well, it made me realize lithium-ion batteries, they need to be stored differently. We need to have them on hand. With hybrid batteries and hybrid powertrains as well as EV powertrains, this big facility gives us an opportunity to hold some of these batteries as we continually progress in the future. So it's opened up a lot of opportunity for us, but more importantly, it's helped the efficiency of our technicians, and it's helped a lot of our partners when it's the independent repair shop, body shop, other dealers, helping them get vehicles back on the road. So I go back to pro when I talked about we help the businesses we support the businesses that support our community. A lot of our wholesale businesses, we support those businesses that support the community. So it's kind of the full circle of how we look at it, look at both pro and the wholesale parts division.
You're the first person I've had, talk about parts that way. I mean, when you and I first talked about how large your facility was, I thought, boy, and you're going to West Virginia, you're going to Indiana, you're going to Kentucky, you just have a massive wholesale parts. But you also bring up that, okay, you're able to get the pro vehicles back on the road faster.
Absolutely.
Better experience. You're able to get the customer's car back on the road faster. Better retention. And then most importantly, the technician gets to fix the car faster. He makes more money. You get better employee retention. So it's like a fire that's feeding every aspect of your business.
Brian, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it is. We're making everybody happy. Partners, employees, everybody is happy in this network that we have worked out between the two businesses to help support it. So kudos to you. You've hit it. I think I've had technicians come to me and say, I asked them, why'd you come to see us? And their answer was, well, because you have all the parts. I said, well, that's a good answer for me. So technician can't fix a vehicle without a part.
Well, I'd actually like to talk about the wholesale part of your parts business a little bit more. Like when you mentioned that you're going to West Virginia and you're going to Indiana, you're going to Kentucky. I mean, it's pretty easy. You're in Columbus. You have a lot of parts. I mean, it makes sense that everybody would be calling you in Columbus. How in the world do you build your business all the way in West Virginia, Indiana, and Kentucky? Like, how do you make those relationships?
A lot of it's built off the word of mouth. We still believe in handshake agreements. We still believe in doing what we say we're going to do, when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it. And I'll go back to it. We have such an amazing staff. A gentleman that's in our company for over 40 years. He's the catalyst. Is at all costs, what can we do on our end to make sure those businesses don't suffer delays, don't suffer any kind of drawback in the repairs or what they need from us. It has been a fantastic symbiosis between our parts department helping out all these businesses, and it's always been on handshake agreements and doing what we say we are going to do every time.
Wow. I mean, with a parts operation that big, there's probably not a business in the area that doesn't have some type of business going on with Ricart.
Well, I hope so, and that's a plan. That's a plan moving forward. So it's been wonderful, and I cannot thank our staff and our employees enough. Anybody can buy a building, anybody can buy real estate, but what really separates is the people operating out of it. And we've been so fortunate with our people, not only taking the opportunity and blowing all expectations out of the water for myself and the rest of our Ricart family.
Well, Jared, is there anything more you'd like to share with our audience today?
So we talked about pro, and one of the biggest hurdles you have is technicians. We all know there's a technician shortage across the United States of America, which kind of opened my eyes of, well, where can I find technicians? And where I landed on is I started with the ASC Foundation, ascfoundation.com, and they have this spot where you can adopt a school. And when we started working with these schools, which they need our help, I mean, the level of technology in these cars, 150 million lines of code in an F-150. They need more vehicles. They need support from the dealer. So we have great partnerships with our vocational schools, our secondary schools, and that really catapulted our ability to grow our pro business, to grow our service business as a whole. So if anybody's wondering where to start, I need to build technicians, start at asefoundation.com, go to Adopt a School. You can find out where schools are near you. And I highly, highly suggest getting involved because those are the technicians of the future. So we get to help support the schools with the learning aids, the teaching aids that they need, the transmissions, the engines, the hybrid powertrains. We get to help them create the technician of the future. So when you get a chance, if you could, just check out ASE Foundation and go to Adopt a School and see if that works your business model.
Nice. Well, I really appreciate you coming in today. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for taking the time to join us for this AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, our guest has been Jared Ricart from Ricart Automotive. We hope to see you again on a future episode. This one's Over the Curb and Burning Gas.